Welcome to Fear-Free Friday. I love Fear-Free Fridays. Today's quote comes from Ralph Keyes, who said, "Serious writers write, inspired or not. Over time, they discover that routine is a far better friend than inspiration." Very true. Hi there, my name is Christopher D'Armani, and I help authors go from blank page to finished first draft to published book with ease. And one of the ways I do that is by helping you understand there's a way to get inspiration to show up a little more regularly. And that's by creating an environment that's welcoming for it. It's not waiting until it shows up to write, but starting to write so that it can show up, if that makes any sense for you. So what I want to talk about a little bit today, let me get these slides up. Are you afraid, do you have hesitation around committing to a daily writing habit? And if you do, I would ask why. What is it that gets your back up, if you will, about scheduling some writing time and being consistent with that every single day? Because at best, inspiration is one of the ficklest of friends, because you can't, well, let me ask you the question. Can you really count on inspiration to show up when you need it? My own experience tells me no chance. And my bet is that your experience is the same thing, which is why creating a writing routine is such a powerful, powerful tool in our author's toolbox. A writing routine allows us to create that environment that will welcome inspiration should it choose to show up today. And even if it doesn't, you're still doing the thing you know you need to do, which is get your daily word count written or write for that specific, allotted amount of time. And all a routine is, all a habit is an action that's repeated regularly. There's no mystery to it. Simple, simple stuff. But one of the beauties of building a habit is it removes decision-making from your day. And the more of these sort of decisions that we can remove from our life, the easier things become. Because one of the challenges that we face is this thing called decision fatigue. So if you have a series of tasks to do and you have to ask questions at each step of the way, by the end of that series, you're going to be mentally exhausted. And, you'll go home at the end of the day and your wife will say, well, what do you want to eat today? And you lose your mind because it's just one more decision you just can't cope with, right? So when we take these things and turn them into habits, it makes our entire life better. Let's just go with that. So building a writing routine, of course, is extraordinarily simple, which is probably why so many people don't do it. It's just too easy, but because it requires discipline. And we talked a bunch about that yesterday. And if you haven't checked out yesterday's video, please go back and do that because it was all about that topic. So to create to create your writing routine, schedule your writing sessions in advance. That's all. So at 3 o'clock today, I'm going to sit down at my computer. I'm going to write 500 words, or I'm going to write for 30 minutes, like whatever the goal is that you have in mind. And then simply show up at the appointed hour, do the thing you said you were going to do at that appointed hour, and keep going. And just keep going until your allotted time runs out or you have achieved whatever that word count is, however you choose to do that. Personally, I like doing a word count goal because I can sit at my computer and fritter away a half hour really easily, giving me half a chance just to ponder stuff. So I always try to set a word goal because that's, for me, far more effective. But feel free to go longer if that's how you feel in the moment. Do more. Just because that's the bare minimum, who cares? You can always do more, right? And the troubling part of this is that you can't make an exception. Because when you make an exception and say, oh, well, I'm not going to keep my writing appointment with myself today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow, it's going to be that much harder tomorrow to do it. And even harder the day after that if you bail on tomorrow's session as well. Keeping these things scheduled on your calendar, turning them into a routine is just simply the thing you do it every day at 2 o'clock, whatever the time frame is for you. If the decision is out of your hands because you've scheduled it and you're consistent with it, every day at 2 o'clock, I write for an hour. You don't have to think about that anymore, and that's just a really, really great thing. And here's some of the benefits of your writing routine, is it teaches you what's possible. It teaches you that it is possible to write whether you're inspired or not. Because so many of us have this false belief that we can only write when we're inspired. And what I've learned over many years of writing is that once I begin, inspiration shows up. All those really beautiful things show up in the moment because I've created that space. I've created that environment so they can show up. I hope I'm being clear on that. You know, as I basically just said, you know, when your writing routine ensures that there is that space for inspiration to show up. And it's also the engine that powers your entire journey down publication highway. Because when you make it easy for inspiration to show up, guess what? It's going to show up a lot more often. If you're sitting around waiting for it, odds are you're not getting a lot of writing done because you're sitting around waiting for the mood to strike you. My life, my experience says the mood often doesn't strike me when I think it ought to. It will occur at, 3:30 in the morning, and I'll wake up with a jolt going, oh, I should really go write that idea down, which, I probably should, but I shouldn't be waiting until 3 a.m. to decide to get up and do something about, the writing I should have done the day prior, right? It's also, this writing routine is also this assurance that you will finish and you will publish your book. It's your guarantee, if you will. It guarantees your success as an author. And it all boils down to this simple thing of creating and maintaining a solid daily writing routine. All the other success flows out of that one simple act. It truly does. Your writing routine is the foundation upon which your entire roadmap for success is built as well, right? Because that's a key portion of figuring out all the rest of the equation for manuscript math. If you don't have an allotted time every day, you can't figure out the math. It just doesn't work. So my question for you today would be, on this beautiful, glorious, fear-free Friday, if you're unsure of how to design your roadmap for success, then I would highly encourage you to reach out to me, schedule a call with me, go to christopherdiarmani.net/dreams, book a time. We'll spend about a half hour or 45 minutes talking about what's important to you, why it's important to you, digging down to uncover some of those layers of motivation, of uncovering your why, so that you know at some really deep levels why this thing is important to you. Because it's easy to get the surface stuff. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to get to some of that deeper stuff, which is actually the way more powerful motivations to get these things done. Simple thing, book a call, we'll talk, we'll figure all that stuff out. And it all flows back to this thing. Your writing routine is going to be way more beneficial for you, and it will also provide that environment for inspiration to show up way more often. So with that, have a glorious and amazing rest of your Fear-Free Friday, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now. Whew, wrong button again, but that was fun.